Hi, everybody. I am Chad. I am here with the frog outside the well, my professor, Dr. Mark Peterson.
안녕하세요.
How are you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Doing good. I know you got the vaccine.
Yes, two.
I'm very happy to hear that. That's great news. I know it's been a long year.
We're still locked down, but I'm looking forward to the time when the vaccine is plentiful enough.
Very happy for you, but on to today's topic. It's an important issue. I just wasn't sure what I had to offer to it. Talking about, the violence and even the murder against Asians, Americans here in the United States. So obviously it's kind of been the top of every news chart recently.
Yes, and I've been concerned about it a lot too. I've had comments on my YouTube channel as well, and I don't know what the answer is, but let's talk about it.
The most, notorious one was the murder of 8 people, and I believe 6 of them were Asian women. That one was horrendous. And I know that there was actually a few women who were either Korean or Korean descent. One that I specifically know about was a Korean woman. She was a single mother of 2, and I think they're young men. I think one of them's an adult. I'm not sure if they're both adults, maybe both just around 18 or 20. That one was sad. The older son, I saw his Instagram post. It is just so devastating to hear about. Here you have this Korean woman working hard as a single mother. It's so sad to me that she's come here to this country. It just really feels like as a country, we have let her down. We have let her children down. That was devastating.
That thing in Atlanta was just horrific. The bottom line for me on that, though, was on the one hand, I think it was a crazy man. He was nuts.
Mm-hmm.
He went and bought the gun that day.
Yeah.
Which means we really need to get serious about reasonable gun
Absolutely.
action. And yeah, I think we ought to get rid of the assault rifles as well. On the one hand, it was one crazy man. On the other hand, it brought forward to our consciousness a lot of the latent Asian prejudice that's out there. And I don't think there's a lot, frankly. There is some. And among the population, my guess is that it's less than 10%. But I think there are 10% that are really racially prejudiced. And in the last several presidential administrations, we've become more and more separated. And I think that's exaggerated the prejudices that we've got in this country.
I think so too. I think that there is that small percentage of people who are very much, kind of any way you define it, they have racial prejudice. I think there are more overt ways that you see racism against Asians kind of in society. You see it a little more maybe acceptable because it's maybe not thought to be a big deal. There was several years ago at the Oscars, actually, I think it was all the lead actors and actresses, they were all white.
Yeah.
So there were some complaints there, and rightfully so, right? A good thing to bring to the forefront. But then at that Oscars, there was a joke made at the expense of Asians. It was an Asian stereotype about, Asian students or something like that, and nobody batted an eye. So I'm thinking, here we are trying to be more aware of racial issues. The host has made comments about it, but then he's going to make a racially insensitive joke towards Asians. And so I do think it has been overlooked for a long time, and I think you're absolutely right that political issues recently, things that Trump would constantly say and very intentionally say, calling it the Asian virus. And I think for most people, they understand okay, that's actually not the case. But like you said, that 10% or so that we have that already have maybe Asian prejudices, stereotypes, and all these things, I think maybe has encouraged some of that violence because it's crazy.
One of the worst things was yesterday.
Yes.
The older Asian woman going to church and being kicked, knocked down, and then kicked repeatedly by a big, husky guy. And then the thing that was really bad about that is the camera angle we have on it is from inside an apartment building that just happened to catch it on a security cam. And what happens is the 2 people inside that building close their door.
Well, not only that, they're security guards. It's their job. And the comment that guy made to her was basically, that you don't belong here. And then attacked her. I mean, totally unprovoked, an older Asian woman. And this idea, I think, I don't know where this idea comes from that people don't belong here. And so I think that's a big thing if we talk about things that we can do, is that I think it's time we start making very, very clear that the people are here and that have come here, that immigrated here, that they belong here, that they're welcome here as any of us are.
America is the nation of immigrants, and we don't distinguish between good immigrants and bad immigrants or something like that. That's ridiculous. But you know, this whole thing has a very personal story for me because I have two adopted daughters who are both Asians, and they have both suffered from slight prejudices and major prejudices, and they've both had some issues about the Asian flu prejudice that's around. It's really worrisome. It's really worrisome.
That's been the conversation that I've had. Friends of mine who are either Korean American, or of other Asian descent, that they're concerned. But not only that, the ones my age, they're very concerned about their parents, because this is maybe the most shocking part of it to me, is that elderly Asian women and men who are being attacked unprovoked.
That's absolutely shocking to me. I understand that there's a certain percentage of the population that's prejudiced. I understand that there's a certain percentage among them that are violent. But why are they picking on older people?
I don't know. I don't understand it. It's just, it's one of the most cowardly things that I can imagine. For me, as someone born in America, grown up in America, I want America to be a place that a lot of countries look up to, that a lot of people want to come to. And I think previously, my hope is that we've been that country, and now it's like I'm embarrassed.
I'm ashamed. I'm ashamed of our country as well.
You use the right word. It's, I'm ashamed.
So what's the answer? Since you called and said, hey, let's do a thing like this, I've been really frustrated because I don't know what the answer is. I don't know what we can do.
Right. I had a similar problem, It's like I try to post things that are important to me on social media. With the Harvard thing, it's like there was an obvious course of action. You put together a petition, you contact Harvard. An issue like this, the same thing I said in my Instagram post was, I don't know how you convince people that racism, and especially racial violence, is terrible, it's absurd, it's ridiculous. I don't know how you convince people of that. And so my thought was, I think we need to, one, make sure that the Asian community here feels supported. Fortunately, most of them will not be subject to violence, but I think most of them will feel the fear of that violence. So I think if we can be supportive of our Asian community, let them know that we are here for them, that we're very much against any sort of racism, and that, that we care about them, and that they're welcome here just as much as you and I are welcome here. Another part of it, that I thought about, if you see something, do something. And that was, the exact opposite of what happened with that woman going to church yesterday, is that two people saw something, at least two people saw something, and they didn't do nothing. And I've seen that a lot. And that's almost, to me, a bigger disappointment, right? I know that there's going to be racists here. There's going to be violent, awful people here. I don't have faith in those people. I don't have hope in those people. I don't think they're going to change their ways. But if we as a community, as people who live here, if we can defend the others, right? Those that are being attacked, then that does give me hope. Like yesterday, if that guy attacked that woman and those two other guys came out and they really, pushed him away, made him stop or whatever, and put some fear into him, I don't think he's going to do it again. He's going to be like, last time I tried that, I got beat up, or last time, they called the police on me, right? There has to be some sort of consequence for, this 10% or, whatever percent it is of people who are not going to change, who cannot be reasoned with. We have to stand up and defend those who can't defend themselves.
It occurs to me one thing that we might be able to do is accentuate the positive aspects of Asian society. People are upset with China these days. Koreans are upset with China these days. But on the other hand, I love to tell the story of how great Korea has handled everything lately. The economic growth is the one thing. I mean, in the 55 years that I've been involved with Korea, you can't believe how much the country has changed.
Right.
But specifically, now how they've handled the coronavirus.
Absolutely.
They just clamped right down on it. They're among the best countries in the world to show how to handle public health.
Yes.
Whereas the United States is one of the worst countries in the world.
Yeah.
But Korea is a good example. Maybe we can just point out how, Koreans do things well, Japanese do things well, Chinese do things well. Maybe we could just, accentuate the positive, talk about the good things as much as possible. Maybe that will help. But in the long run, I'm really discouraged about, what you can do about this kind of thing.
I'm with you. And I think, hopefully those are the things that we can do as Asians here and everywhere, help them feel supported, help them feel welcomed, wherever they are. It just seems so basic.
Maybe we need more of this.
Yeah, a little more of that.
More of this. these sorts of positive things, maybe that'll help to make some difference.
I think so. For me, it's like I love to share Korean culture, and that's why I started this channel. But it does encourage me to like, okay, maybe I need to spread this out a little further and on a bigger scale. Encourage others, like if you see something, to do something about it. I think, you know, if you see verbal arguments or things like that, I think sometimes the natural is, you know, it's not my business, I'm going to stay out of it. But I do think, you know, if we can be a little more aware and step in when we can and encourage others to do the same.
Yeah, let's hope.
Hopefully we turn the corner on this. Just, I mean, the increase in racism against Asians over the last year is dramatically increased, and so hopefully we see that turn the other direction. More awareness comes, and hopefully as people step forward to help those who need help. Discouraging situation for sure, and I wish there was something obvious, something more that we could do, but I guess we'll keep our eyes open for it and keep trying.
Yeah, just keep trying. I guess we've all got to do the best we can, but it's a sad situation.
It really is. Well, thanks so much for joining, Dr. Peterson. Always appreciate your insight. Good to have you.
Yeah, thanks for calling me. It's good to see you again.
Yeah. We'll talk to you guys soon. Thank you, everybody.
Take care. Bye.
Bye.